His story captivated the borderland and anyone else who heard about it around this globe. A hero soldier who used a cheap ballpoint pen to save a man's life. That is the story I initially wanted to tell you. Instead, this is the real story that I have to tell you. The job of a magician is to make you believe that something which never happened did.
Looks simple, doesn't it?
Penn and Teller are two of the very best.
Looks simple, doesn't it?
Our story is also make-believe, and it's thanks to one Penn and this storyteller.
I think I'm crazy to even try it.
That is Fort Bliss Sergeant Trey Troney. As you will see, he tends to blow things up a little.
Big gun. Big boom.
Trey is assigned to this field artillery unit. He spends most of his life training, either in the field or indoors. Learning emergency first aid is something every man and woman in the military is required to do. Trey's story begins 3 days before Christmas. He was driving home to Mississippi when he came up on a really bad wreck out on Interstate 20.
It was near Sweetwater, right?
No, it was east of Dallas.
East of Dallas.
It was on somewhere on I-20 east of Dallas. I'm not sure the city.
That was the first lie he told me, and this was the next.
Here's a red Silverado. It was crushed in between two 18-wheelers.
Word of Trey's heroics started in an email. This one, sent to CBS4 and other media outlets, as well as Trey's commanding officer. The email's author wanted everyone to know how much of a hero Trey is. It included pictures, one of Trey and one of that mangled pickup truck, a silver Tundra, not that red Silverado. The email was from a man named Jeff Udger. Remember that name?
I got an email from Mr. Udger. He emailed me because he said he got my email off of Facebook.
The email detailed Trey's heroic actions that certainly saved Jeff's life. It started when Trey says he tore off his brand new hoodie of his favorite football team, the New Orleans Saints, and with the help of others began treating the huge gash on Jeff's forehead.
So I took off my hoodie and ripped the top and put it into around his head and took the two arms and tied it real tight. And I told the truck driver, I was like, hold pressure. Like, I'm gonna go to my Jeep and see if I got a first aid kit or anything.
Trey says Jeff was still lucid and told him this.
I'm being honest, and so he was like, oh, well, I don't know how I feel about you helping me. You're wearing that Saints hoodie in cowboy country. And I was like, well, we could talk about it later.
Trey says Jeff then soon passed out, and that's when he noticed one side of his chest wasn't moving.
I knew right away he had a collapse lung.
I didn't know right away. It was a 50-50 chance, sir. I took a chance.
Trey shows me what he claims to have done. By sheer luck, he had a decompression needle. They're made for situations exactly like this one.
And I just stuck it through there and nothing happened. Here I am, I'm like freaking out. I was like, I just killed this dude.
The needle was too short, so Trey came up with a MacGyver-like plan. Extend the needle with the casing of a ballpoint pen. Trey says a DPS trooper was there and watched it all.
And I was like, let's wiggle this in there. And I just poked him. He started bleeding. I just kept wiggling it because his ribs were crushed. Right after I got past the meat, I felt it. You could just feel it. The state trooper was like, it worked. And I was like, okay, we're good. And you could just hear the air, like the air release. And he started breathing. And the state trooper was like, he's like, did you really just put an ink pen between his ribs? And I was like, yeah. And then the state trooper was just like in awe that I'm crazy enough to just put an ink pen through somebody's ribs.
The problem with Trey's account is that it never happened. DPS issued a statement saying, based on the evidence reviewed by DPS, including body camera footage, the department is unable to confirm the multiple statements attributed to Army Sergeant Trey Troney. DPS has found no evidence to support the claims of life-saving efforts made by Sergeant Troney. Troopers have completed their investigation of the crash. CBS4 on your side also has the DPS report. And that name I asked you to remember, Jeff Udger, he wasn't the victim. A man named Jeff Hayes was. CBS4 has tried repeatedly to find Jeff Udger. We've sent him several emails and searched many databases. It appears he does not exist, but Trey insists that he does.
I haven't reached out to him. He emailed me, and I talked to him on speakerphone with the Fort Bliss Bugle.
The Fort Bliss Bugle first published the story, but hours after my interview, they retracted every single word of it. Trey also claims that Jeff has written him a long, heartfelt email.
Never forget to give back to this world, because you never truly know how much a hero you are to me and my family, and what a difference you can make in this world.
At the very end of our interview, my photographer asked Trey this.
I didn't take any pictures of it.
Well, if he didn't take this photo, who did? Because I can guarantee it was not a man no one can find by the name of Jeff Udgar. I've requested another interview with Sergeant Troney. Fort Bliss says since its investigation is still open, that will not happen, at least not anytime soon. A core value of the Army is integrity. Troney lost at least some of that when he lied about what he did.